I now have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker, Neal Dempsey. Neal's with Bay Partners, one of the Silicon Valley's oldest venture capital firms, which he joined after serving as CEO of Cubics Graphic Systems. As you all know, we opened the doors of Dempsey Hall this September, and in athletics, Neal funded Dempsey Indoor, which is one of the premier collegiate indoor sports facilities on the West Coast. So as you might imagine from this latter gift, Neal loves sports. He's competed in numerous marathons, including the Boston Marathon, New York, and Big Sur. He's climbed 6 of the 7 highest mountains in the world and sailed around the world, spending 168 days on the open sea. Now this is where I would normally say, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm welcome for Neal Dempsey. But if you look on stage, his seat is empty. So let me find out where he is. I'm gonna quick call.
I'm over here.
Where?
I'm out here with who matters today, the graduates.
Well,
welcome everybody.
Oh, there he is, in the back.
So you all ought to know that as Jim said, I graduated here just a few short years ago, and I sat in these seats, so I know what it's like, but I wanted to relive it. This is your day, this is your year, this is your career. So welcome everybody. I hope today is somewhat memorable because it's going to be a very unusual commencement speech. Trust me. When I was an ordinary kid from Tacoma, the qualifications to get into UW were a high school diploma, and I think you had to have the ability to swim. Have you ever tried to doggy paddle 50 meters? You think the GMATs were hard? Try doggy paddling. Anyway, this is a fabulous day, and I'm really happy to be here. But before I begin my remarks, I wanted to talk about the people behind me. Dean Jimbalvo, Dean Sefcik, faculty, staff. You happen to be going to a school with world-class leaders. These are the best there is. So, faculty, fabulous people. We love you all. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. They're so lucky to have you. Just really lucky. So, big hand for the faculty, this incredible staff that keeps the trains on time, keep things running, and Dean Jim and Dean Steve. They're good friends of mine, and they're the best there is. I was out in the audience, and I talked to a lot of you graduates on the way in, and everybody was a bit surprised to think that the speaker was going to be in the crowd, but that's what it's all about. You're what it's all about. And so about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to meet with 25 or 30 of you, and hopefully you're all in here. If you're not in here, I want to know it. But we had little groups of 4 or 5 people in one of the fabulous rooms in PACCAR. And it was about an hour each, and you know, it was really engaging. You know, I was just surprised and impressed. Matter of fact, unbelievably impressed. Most of you have jobs. Credit to faculty, yourselves, and this fabulous school for that kind of success. But here's what you told me, and what I learned in these meetings. You're afraid you won't like your job. That's a real issue. You're afraid you won't be successful. Even more critical, because you've never not been successful. You're afraid of what it's like in the real world. Well, let me tell you what it's like. The real world is brutal. That's how bad the real world is. It's tough. It's aggressive. It's competitive. And you might not like it. You got to be ready. It's nasty. The real world is tough, so be prepared. The real world is not simple. The real world will confirm all your fears. Some of you will hate your job, but more importantly, all of you will fail. Okay, that's a speech. Good luck. Let's go to the bar. Rock and roll. That's all you need to know. You don't need to know anything else. Get out of here. Okay, that's the bad news. Here's the good news. The world is your oyster. You're about to have new freedom, new opportunities, and a world-class education to boot. I'm going to give you 3 secrets so you can make sure you'll win all your fights, because there's going to be a lot of fights. So be prepared. Secret 1, accept failure. Secret 2, embrace change. And secret 3, give back. You got that? Accept failure, embrace change, and give back. Now why should you accept failure? You never failed at anything. I think the biggest failure I heard from the group was, oh, one time I got an A-. That's not failure. That's not failure. If you're not failing, you're not stretching yourself. You're not taking any risks. If you don't fail or take risks, you'll find yourself stuck. You are the leaders, and leaders have to take risks. So if you're stuck in a mediocre career, just not getting it done, you got to get out of it. Let me tell you how I was stuck in a mediocre career. Kind of just like here, you know? Not doing what I wanted to do. My lifetime dream was to be a CEO of an early stage technology company. And I got that, I finally got that opportunity. I was a player. Man, I was so qualified for this job, and I was the best there is. I had reached the pinnacle of this mediocre career, and that was it. I knew that I was going to be so good. I was going to build the biggest, most successful early stage technology company in Silicon Valley's history. This thing was going to the moon because I was the perfect candidate to lead this team forward. So I raised a few $1 million, put the team together, and launched the company. And in 1 year, this thing went right down the dumper. Out of business. 12 months. I was so high, and then I was so low. What are you going to do when you fail like that? I never had that experience. It was unbelievable. And I didn't get any A-minuses. I got a lot of C's. So, what did I do? Well, I got off the mat, revived, and said, got to do it again. Got to try again. Same thing, but this time I knew a lot more. I was a certified genius on how to fail. This time, certainly this time, slam dunk. I knew what I did wrong, totally my fault, but I fixed all that in my mind. And this time, it took 2 years. Same result. Done, out of business. Well, for sure, I knew my chances of getting number 3 were impossible. So what do you do when failure happens? One of you out there who will go nameless, said to me, the last thing I want to end up with is a husband, 3 kids, a minivan, and a job I hate. Well, I can't talk about the husband or the 3 kids or the minivan, but I can tell you about the job I hate. When I was supposed to be at the pinnacle of my career, I had to start over. Change course. Don't be afraid to do something crazy. Don't be afraid to change course. So, let me tell you about how I changed course. After 2 miserable failures as a CEO, I clearly was not on anybody's radar to go and run an early stage company. But one of my investors, who I'd lost millions for in Company A and Company B, called me and said, hey Neal, we'd like to have you consider being a venture capitalist and working for us. I thought, man, this is fabulous. This is the big leagues. So I rolled in as a VC, thought I was a big player again. Wrong. I was an entry-level trainee, VC day one. Even though I had, what I thought was a wealth of experience, I was competing with another 6 people that were 10 years younger than I was, with very little experience, to be honest with you, but it didn't matter. You are an associate, big boy, like everybody else in this room. So, I'm in Seattle. It was my territory, because I knew a little bit about Seattle. And I met a young entrepreneur that had a company that he started just a few short years earlier, and the business was a consumer business, and it was several coffee shops he'd founded, and the issue was that half of them were failing. But what I noticed about this entrepreneur was his passion, his description of his business, the description of his people, the description of how the product was going to was served and handled. He just had this incredible passion. It was mesmerizing. So I take this back to my partners in Bay, the senior partners, and I present this at the Monday morning partners meeting. And about 30 seconds, Dempsey, are you kidding? This is a technology partnership. You're a technology guy. What the hell are you doing? And in addition, it's a consumer product, and it's a bad idea. Well, and the firm, of course, said no about this investment. But turns out the company was Starbucks, and the entrepreneur was Howard Schultz. Bottom line was, I failed miserably as a CEO. But it turns out I had a knack for venture capital. So you need to fail, potentially, to lead yourself to your true calling. And don't forget that. You got to do that. Now, even if you're happy and things are really rolling well for you, you love your job, you love the situation you're in, you're getting it done every day, it's so cool. You're just hanging the moon. So that's when the unexpected happens. As Jim said, I ran the Boston Marathon this past year. I've run a lot of Bostons and Crazy Runner and all that stuff. But I just got onto Boylston. Those of you know Boston, Boylston cuts the center of town. And you turned onto Boylston, like so, you can see the finish. You're about 700-800 meters away from the finish. You're rolling. You feel like $1 million. It's going to be hard, but you know you're going to get there. In addition, I was killing it. I was on a personal record. I was going to run that puppy in a little over 4 hours. And for an old fart like me, that's killing it. I had visions of finishing, great accolades, winning my age group and saying, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And what happened was the unthinkable occurred. Bonds went off. And when it first happened, this is awful, man. I'm on the roll. Why did he stop? Now, of course, I didn't realize what a tragic event was happening ahead of me. So not finishing became totally irrelevant. The point of this little story is you can do everything right. Your whole life can be perfect. You can do exactly what you're supposed to do, but things still go wrong. It'll happen. It'll happen lots of times for you. And then you have to change course. You have to change. So be ready. You got to be nimble. You got to be moving around. You got to be observation, looking, peripheral vision helps. Listening skills helps. All that stuff matters. Trust me. The third and last secret. One we've talked about, accept failure. 2, change course. The third and final one, before I finish, is give back. I promise you that giving back will be the most rewarding thing you ever do, without a doubt. Give what's important to you. Church, community, nonprofits, those less fortunate. What's really important to you all is giving your time, giving your knowledge, helping others that are less fortunate. I'm not talking about money here, I'm just talking about giving your time, giving your energy, because you offer so much. World-class education, all are going to work, going to do real well in your career, but think about that each day you're killing it at work. Give what's important to you. It's really important. Let me tell you about the time, first time that I decided to give back. I was asked by the University of Washington, the development organization, wherever Stephen is, and the dean, to think about a gift for this fine school. And I was really caught up in this, and I really wanted to do this. So I was asked to give a gift that was beyond belief. Now this is 20 years ago, okay? A long time ago. This was more money than I was making in a year. Now I'm in the business of taking risks every day. It's a fun business, but when you lose, it's not fun. So I took a big risk when it came to this pledge. A huge risk. I had no idea how I was going to pay this puppy off. It just wasn't obvious. And each year, development called me in and said, hey, you know, you made this pledge, and when are you going to start paying on it? When are you good for it? And I said, trust me, we'll get there. Year 2, year 3, year 4. Finally, year 5. Ooh, I went to the woodshed. I was kind of put on the spot saying, well, why did you make this pledge when you're not making good on it in the 5 year? You know, this has never happened here before. And you're in unprecedented water here, big boy. And you know, we're going to have to write this off. And that's never happened at the UW. Somehow, we got there. Because giving back was bigger than me. I was motivated to make good on that pledge. I stretched myself in my career so I could fulfill the pledge that I made to giving back. You have to stretch way beyond your comfort zone to make big things happen. Even if your time is valuable here, you got to stretch to do that. You know, you're all going to be okay. It will be a crazy ride, but you're the best of the best and the smartest of the smart. You are our next leaders. One of you is going to stand up here in a few short years and tell the world about all your failures and say, you know, you got to stretch. You got to do what you got to do. I'm expecting that. I want to be here out there looking at you. I've got the gift for each of you today. And when you see it, I want you to remember what we talked about here today. When you get stuck or find yourself unsure, remember, 1, accept failure. 2, embrace change. And 3, give back. Now, I don't want to bore you, but I got to say it again. You've got to remember this because it's important. Accept failure. You got that? Everybody gets that? Embrace change. If you don't, it's your own fault. And give a little time and energy back. You got to do it. That's all part of your life. You're so successful, you got to give your time and energy to something else other than your job. And keep fighting. Keep fighting for yourself, for your family, for your career, for your community, and for your world. We'll all be cheering you on. We're your biggest fans. This whole group up here are your biggest fans. This whole building is your biggest fans. The world's your biggest fans. Oh, by the way, the gifts are taped to the bottom of your chair. So, congratulations, class of 2013. You're absolutely the best, and I love being here. Go get it.
Ha ha ha.